Hello and good evening and welcome to another video tutorial on understanding body language, liars, cheats and happy feet. Okay, so previously I've just done Lady Gaga and now we're moving on to Great Britain's finest. Who is it? None other than Mr. David Beckham. Now, if you don't know who David Beckham is, you must have been living on Mars for the last 10 years. Beckham was a massive United player, then moved over to Real Madrid, then went to play for LA Galaxy. He's a bit of a mega star. He's married to Posh Spice, so Victoria Beckham. He's got a few kids now, and he's generally a really good guy. So let's see if his non-verbals convey that. Let's see what he starts on. So this is on the American TV show Ellen. So let's just have a look straight away at the initial reaction he gives Ellen. Okay, notice anything there? Let's just rewind that a bit there. Let's have a look. Now how David instinctively goes in first. He offers the hand. Watch this. Watch David here. There you go. So very sincere. I know it's almost like bowing to her slightly as well there, so that's a great gesture. And what's even more great is the chivalrous gesture he makes here. He asks Ellen to sit down first. Now, how chivalrous is that? That is typical old-fashioned British manners right there. So basically, if he'd have sat down then and Ellen was still up, that shows David is part of my English and part of my French up his own arse, which is definitely an English term, meaning David is feeling cocky and arrogant. But note how he offers the open palm gesture asking Ellen to sit down, that I'll sit down after you. It's a great sign, non-verbally, of respect. It's like, after you, after you. There you go. Brilliant. It's a really good gesture, that. So, obviously, David's a bit of a heartthrob all around the world. So...
Well, we're out of time, but it has been great. See, we had to allow more time for the screaming because we knew that was going to happen. So, and that happens everywhere you go, I assume.
So what David makes here is a repeated gesture in the middle there, so hands clasped. Okay, so obviously over the years, David had been interviewed. He's still not overly comfortable about being interviewed, and that's why he places his hands right in front of him, which is a controlled gesture. And he'll probably assume that gesture 9 times out of 10 when he's being interviewed, especially with someone in close proximity to him. But that's obviously David's baseline, so he would do that naturally. So that's on Ellen. So David makes a really good start there by showing his manners and how courteous he is. And let's see about when he gets a little bit of a grilling from Jonathan Ross. Now that I'm sure you're all familiar with who Jonathan Ross is. He's a bit of an entertainer here in Great Britain. And let's see if we can spot anything on here.
But you've got a bit of OCD going on, haven't you? Yeah, you're a little bit, because someone...
Okay, so if you don't know what OCD is, it's called obsessive compulsive disorder, and it's when we have to put things in like a certain order. Let's say, for instance, that you have to turn the light switch off 4 times before you get into bed. So let's just see what David reveals here.
But you've got a bit of OCD going on, haven't you? Yeah, you're a little bit, because someone I know said they'd been in your house. Don't worry, they were invited. It wasn't a stalker.
So watch for the pacifying gestures David makes here shortly by altering his tie. And also watch out for the fleeting facial expression he makes as well when he talks about it. So let's just start from the beginning again. Let's see if we can spot anything else. That's Jonathan Ross.
But you've got a bit of OCD going on, haven't you? Yeah, you're a little bit, because someone I know said they'd been in your house. Don't worry, they were invited. It wasn't a stalker. They said you have to have the drink labels lined up a certain way in the fridge and all that kind of thing.
So there you go. Look at that pacifying gesture David's making there by altering the tie. Obviously, when we start to answer questions, we don't particularly like if the neck area is quite well covered, we need it to breathe. So we have to start altering our tie slightly to allow more oxygen to circulate around the neck, because the carotid artery at the side of the neck will start pulsating during sympathetic arousal. So obviously when that starts to pulsating, you'll start feeling it against your clothes, and we have to start touching around the neck. It's a classic giveaway of anxiety. So let's have a look at David.
Yeah, if there's like 2 bottles of water and 2 bottles of Coke and 2 bottles of Sprite.
Those hand movements he's doing there are in sync, so he's obviously talking about the truth here. He has actually got OCD. So let's see if he's comfortable in discussing it.
Water water and 2 bottles of Coke and 2 bottles of Sprite. If there's an extra can, then I take it out and put it in the cupboard and hide it.
So there's got to be two.
Look at that expression that David makes there. If we can pause it.
Yeah.
So you don't like the odds?
No.
And if the two
can, then I take
it out and
put it in the cupboard and hide it.
So there's got to be 2 and 2 and 2.
There we go.
Yeah.
So we can see that fleeting expression David makes here, surely. I'm trying to find it. There you go. So it's a tight-lipped smile. It's almost embarrassment because he doesn't exactly want to be talking about that.
So there's got...
There you go. So we can pause it there. Look at that. The tight-lipped smile. Look how the corners of the eyes dip in as well and start to crinkle. And look at the furrowing of the brows. So he's not overly comfortable about talking about this.
Cupboard and hide it.
So there's
there you go.
2 and 2 and 2.
Yeah.
So you don't like the odds?
No.
And if the two there, do you have the labels facing?
I have the labels facing perfectly, and it really, like, Victoria will go in and just tweak it a little bit, and then I'll go in and annoy me. But there's other things.
What? No, why would she do that? Why would she want to annoy you?
Because
and he starts altering his dress here. He starts tucking in because he feels embarrassed now about talking about this live on TV. Someone such a big star as David Beckham doesn't want to be seen as having weaknesses, you see, because he's idolised by millions of fans. So he doesn't want to appear weak in front of a mass audience, and that's why he starts altering and starts twitching his jacket here, you see.
Because well, it's the same. I'm really tidy, and that's why we're kind of perfect, because she'll mess up.
However, the good thing about David Beckham, he doesn't take himself overly seriously all the time, which is great. I've seen numerous videos with David and Victoria, especially the LEG one. He doesn't take himself all that serious, which is a great way to be during interviews, and that's why people like him so much. He's well respected, both on the fields and the person, David Beckham. I know he had some faux pas in his private life a few years ago, but I think all's been forgiven there. So let's just keep watching.
What's the worst thing she leaves on? Is it old knickers? There's some tights over there.
No, the old knickers I don't mind.
So these two have got a great rapport together. If you want an example of difficult rapport, check out the Lady Gaga video I've just done with Jimmy Kimmel. There's none of this kind of bouncing off each other. There's no real crowd interaction with the Lady Gaga. These two are properly in sync with each other, and it's good.
How big the pile gets, though. If there's a year's supply, you get cross.
You've seen the size of it. The knickers are only small.
I can imagine. Imagine it looks like a bit of tooth floss on the floor. Do people still call her posh much? Does she get that? I guess she gets it in the press.
She's down in my phone as posh.
Are you for posh?
Yeah, she'll always be posh.
That's so nice. What does she call you?
So the good thing about here is that David is maintaining this leg position here. If I can just try and find the leg position he's in. I can't seem to find it. If you just scoot back a slight touch, we can see the exact same position that David was in at the start of the interview.
Yeah, she'll always be posh.
Which is that position there, look. That's a great position to be in. It's relaxed, it's comfortable for David. Don't forget the legs are our most honest part of our body language because they're governed by the limbic system. So if David was feeling really anxious or really nervous now, he'll be making some kind of gesture with these feet, like tapping them forward, almost in like a kicking motion in Jonathan Ross's general direction. We're not seeing any movement via the foot. Foot position is good. He's angling his knee towards Jonathan, and this nice relaxed pose here tells me that these two have got really good rapport. So there's absolutely no problems between David and Jonathan Ross.
What does she call you? Is it still golf balls?
She's called me a few things. She said to me before the show tonight, she said, just don't say anything silly. I said, no, you're the one that says the silly things, not me. So, no, it's every now and again it's golden balls.
And is there a kind of angry name she has for you when she's cross with you?
I really couldn't say that, even for the last show. Anyway, yeah, and I have the problem with, I do the housework and I like to
Do you hoover? Do you like
I like to hoover.
What do you listen to when you're hoovering? You put music on, or you like
kids running around.
So you don't hear that.
So the gestures here are perfectly fine. And look at Jonathan Ross's leg position now, almost coming to mirror David Beckham, see, which is great. Don't forget about non-verbal communication. We see this a lot in dating. If you're ever out at a meal and you want to know if two couples are getting on well, if you're on a first date or if you want to observe couples' body language, have a look what the legs are doing first of all, because that's the biggest indicator of how much rapport, how much they respect or like each other. And we can clearly see here that the legs are right close together, which shows these two feel trusting, have a good understanding, and they're both getting on. So they get having a good relationship here between the interviewee and the interviewer. So everything here is spot on. So there you go. So that's David Beckham covered on understanding body language, liars, cheats, and happy feet. We saw on the first video that he's very much a gentleman by letting Ellen sit down. He goes back to his baseline by having his hands clasped. However, in this interview, we see him much more relaxed. We've got knee position straight in towards Jonathan Ross. He makes a few pacifying gestures with the with his tie, which for him might be a comforting gesture, or it might allow more oxygen to circulate around the carotid artery at the side of the neck, which pulsates during when we're anxious or nervous about discussing something we're maybe not comfortable about, like David's OCD. But all in all, it's pretty good, and yeah, everything's pretty good there. So let me just click off this, and let's have a look at my body language page, which is called Understanding Body Language, Liars, Cheats, and Happy Feet. I'm the man behind the page, CJB. If you can press like, and if you can hit the share button down here as well, and then just type something good in like please join this page, share it on your wall, I would appreciate that. So I'm on a quest to get 1,000 likes on here before 2012, and I'm on a quest to get 1 million views on my videos on YouTube by the end of 2012. So if you can help me do that by sharing my videos on Facebook, on Twitter, or any other medium you've got, that'll be very kind of you, and please leave me a message if you do. So there we go. So another video done on understanding body language. If you'd like to leave me any comments or feedback on what you just watched, please let me know. And from everyone here at Body Language, take care and bye-bye for now.